problem with saying this is that the problem with saying such things as the precedent is that it's always taken to mean that I'm casting some doubt on previous efforts. I'm absolutely not. I'm very proud of the work which FOGSI has done and all the publications that have come out in the past. But again, this is just keeping in line with the standards which any publication should follow. I'm sure Dr. Patel will agree that when any article is published in the journal, it goes through all these kinds. It goes through a peer review. It goes through plagiarism checks and so on and so forth. So why shouldn't we follow the same standards for all our publications, rather than for limiting them only to publications which are in the journal, and then sort of set up a systematic way of making a publication. So the aim of the publication cell, as I said, is to do a landscape. It's to set standards. It's to look at the landscape of what kind of publications we are already making and have already made, and it's to set up guidelines on how publications should come out in the future. So hopefully that will give even more of an edge to our publications than has been there in the past. Again, let me reiterate, I'm very proud of the work which FOGSI has done in the past. This is just an effort to standardize and streamline what has happened. I'm also looking forward to hearing Dr. Joseph and Dr. Qazi. I think, again, two very, the basics of publication, it all starts usually with a thought followed by a literature search. And then at the end, after proofreading, editing, etc., you have to have a quality check in terms of plagiarism and paraphrasing. So you've got very eminent speakers, Surekha, and of course, very eminent chairpersons, Girija, Dr. Meena, yourself, and Meenu. And I wish you the very best for this webinar. And I know that this is just, I believe, the first in the series. And I will look forward to either attending all of them live, irrespective of whether you call me or not, or at least listening to the recordings. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, sir. And it is really heartening to know that we have a publication cell. And specifically, we were talking of this plagiarism tool, which has to be purchased by FOGSI, because during our GCPRs, we thought that that tool is needed. And it is very, very heartening to know that FOGSI is now coming up with this very, very, important issue of, standardizing. We do know that the quality was, as you said, no doubt about the previous one. But, as time goes by, we become aware of these things more. Maybe 10 years back, it was not like that. But even now.
It's an incremental. It's an incremental.
Definitely. So thank you very much, sir. And I would like to just, inform you that my whole team of Clinical Research Committee, they are all young ones and youngsters, but they do such a lot of hard work. And I would just like to appreciate them in front of you. Although Nivedita is there, Anit is there, we have Shobna, we have Archana Kumari. So all of them, they work so hard for all this work of Clinical Research Committee. And I would like to thank all of them. And thank you very much, sir, for being with us. And now I would like to welcome our Secretary General, Dr. Madhuri Patel, ma'am. She's also the Editor-in-Chief of Jogi. And that gives us all the more pleasure to welcome Madam here. And if you can just display her CV slide, but again, I do not need a slide to talk about Madhuri ma'am, because she, as you know, is the first Secretary General of FOGSI and the first female Secretary General of FOGSI. And you know that she's a people's person, because she has been traveling all over the nation, traveling to small societies, meeting FOGSians, trying to, and she's always there to engage with the FOGSI members and try to solve their issues. And we all know that she's such a hard worker. So even at 2 o'clock in the night, I was just telling to Anit, you're just like Madhuri ma'am, because he's also awake at 2 o'clock in the night to do all the work. And so ma'am, you're very, very inspiring by the type of hard work you put in. And we all look up to you when we talk of the work going on in FOGSI. So over to you, ma'am, for your words of wisdom.
Thank you, Surekha, for your kind and warm words. Surekha, she's a committee chair, but she always encourages everybody. And she's the one, last year I have seen her walking I know her since last 2 decades. She has been working. She's a professor and head. I had gone to her institute. Such a lovely and encouraging work they are doing. And plus, as a committee chair of clinical research, she has really done fantastic work in last year. And Jaydeep, I am very sure she will continue to do work in similar manner, little better manner than last year. Last 3 decades, he has shown me, along with my mentor, Dr. C.N. Purandare, all the nitty-gritty of the as a Secretary General. And I was whenever he climbed up one step, I was behind him. So he has taught me all the nitty-gritty of the FOGSI. And today, what you see me, that is not only because of myself, but because of my predecessor, and Jaydeep is one of them. So Jaydeep, thank you very much. So my 2.5 years I have gone, and they are really, really fantastic year of my Secretary General, and one more year to go. So, and what is happening, I got a great leader with me, Dr. Shanta, Dr. Rishikesh, and Jaydeep. So in spite of learning, now I'm learning more and more that what we can do better for the FOGSI. And as Jaydeep has rightly said, that he is going to come out with the publication cell. Because what we see nowadays, people just publish, they take my permission and they just want to publish their books. So as Dr. Jaydeep said, we have to have some standardized thing, because in the past, they used to take a permission from the managing committee, and in the next meeting, we used to, if they're permitted, we used to allow them to publish. Now, Jaydeep, this is very good initiative that at least they tell us, they give us the index, what is this, somebody can go through, we can do the plagiarism check, everything we can do, and then put forward as an FOGSI publication. And one more thing, as you said, that I have also taken up as an editor-in-chief position. This is the dual responsibility. And I have told in my managing committee also that I'll be definitely, doing the, best to my level. And I will be only, I'll be doing both the dual duties, simultaneously, which I will do to my best, because I have a good team, not only in the journal, but also in my administrative team with Dr. Jaydeep. And of course, I cannot forget my, student, Charmila. Now she's a vice president, Girija, then Dr. Anit Kumar, Dr. Nivedita, and of course, Meena Saman, who had taken, she was a clinical research, committee chair, from whom Surekha has taken over. Charmila also into same. So these are the great teachers. And of course, I can see Dr. Meenu Agarwal, Shobha Priya, Anit, I have already mentioned, and of course, our speaker, Dr. Joseph and Dr. Qazi. They are going to give us all the ideas, how we should go about. Literature search is very important. Unless you do the literature search, you cannot go forward. So they are going to talk about tools and tricks of that. And secondly, plagiarism. So in the journal, we have a plagiarism system check we have. And Surekha, I will see that you also get from FOGSI also, we obtain that. So it will be very easy for us to do the plagiarism check. Because in journal, we don't allow a plagiarism of 10 to 12%. No duplication up to 10 to 12%. And plus, there are many times, we have to resend the authors that this is not correct. These are the so many plagiarism, is a percentage we give. And, you waste time in that. And they feel that the publication, the journal takes lots of time to publish their article, right? Because we have a peer review system, in that it takes time. So it usually takes, 3 to 6 months, and, of your acceptance. And if it is, let me tell you that in journal, we get more than 1,000 papers. And in a year, we can only publish 110 to 120 papers, original papers. So usually we take out 2 supplementary, so we can accommodate more people. And because of this PICSEC program, we are finding now research methodology has become so much, familiar to all our members. So we are getting good quality of paper. But, it is difficult to reject, but still we have to cut short from 1,000 to 110 to 120. So we are very happy that, all this methodology, all this literature search, plagiarism, members are aware about it. So it will, you know, when they come to the journal, when they come to the FOGSI publication, will not have much problem. So I'm happy you started with this series, episode 1, with the School of, you know, Advanced Studies, right? DMI HER.
That is good. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so that is very nice. It will again, you know, give an insight of our how for the publication, which are very important when we want to climb up the ladder. With this, I really congratulate Dr. Jaydeep, you and Charmila for the most apt webinar, and wish you all best for the future endeavor. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And yes, this webinar is in collaboration with School of Advanced Studies, DMIHER, and the collaboration will give us very good faculty, you know, because the research methodology, we are going to pick up those issues, those topics where really an in-depth study is needed. And for that, this collaboration will work very well because we are going to pick up good faculty who really know the subject, you know, and that way even us the professor level also can learn. So if you are joining the webinar, basically we think that we all should learn ourselves also. That's why we have chosen this collaboration with the School of Advanced Studies. Thank you very much, Dr. Jaydeep and Dr. Madhuri, for always blessing us and encouraging us. Thank you very much.
Surekha, I forgot to mention about Dr. Nivedita and Dr. Shobna, who are very active in this MOC, I think. So all the best to all of you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And with that, I will hand over the session to our convener, who is Dr. Nivedita Jha. And I would like to just, introduce her. She is the additional professor. She is the associate professor of Department of OBG from JIPMER, Pondicherry, and she is the national coordinator for Clinical Research Committee. And she has done such a lot of work. Our Vishesh program, the LSAS program, Infertility Project, the GCPR, and name anything in Clinical Research Committee, and you'll find Dr. Nivedita Jha. So I'm thankful to you, Nivedita, and over to you for convening this event.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this kind introduction, and thank you from a core of my heart, the dignitaries. Thanks, sir, and Madhuri Patel, ma'am, for your blessings and encouraging all of us, and especially taking our names. That really encourages us to persevere. Now we move to the first segment of the webinar. So this is about plagiarism detection tool, and this will be dealt with a demonstrative video. So for this, we have Dr. Girija Wagh to chair the session and Professor Meena Samant to chair. So Girija Wagh, ma'am, congratulations very much for becoming the Vice President. And ma'am is, extensive, travel faculty and extensively renowned faculty. Meena Samant, ma'am, slide. Meena Samant, ma'am, is the ex-chairperson of this committee, and I had the privilege of working with ma'am in the last set. Ma'am is an extremely soft-spoken person from Patna. She's the HOD in Kochi Holy Family Hospital, and presently, she's been elected as ICOG chair also. So, ma'am is a strong academician, and she also believes in research publication. So, this session would be chaired by these two dignitaries. And can I have the slide of the speaker, Dr. Noyal, today?
Yeah, maybe the chairpersons can introduce Dr. Noyal.
I think it would be appropriate if the convener introduces Dr. Noyal, so that she will be doing justice, and then we would just start the session.
Okay, Nivedita.
Surekha?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Girija, ma'am, for that opportunity. Noyal is my undergrad senior and one of the most favorite persons in the JIPMER campus. He's an MD microbiology also from JIPMER, and presently he is the additional professor. He has 13 years of academic and research experience. He has 98 publications and many book chapters. His area of interest is prevention of plagiarism. He works in the field of TB diagnostics, biomarkers, biosafety in TB lab. He has the awards to his credit. To add to his credit, that no thesis or DM or any PhD thesis can be submitted without a plagiarism check, certified, checked by sir and certified with his signature. Very instrumental in. So over to you, sir, and we are really very grateful for having accepted.
Nivedita, are you
before we
having
get
two
to this-
devices? Are you having two devices? Because we are hearing an echo.
No, ma'am, no.
So anybody who has two devices,
No.
we have to close off one device because we are hearing some echo. So request to please, mute others, Anit, so that we can hear Dr. Noyal well. Over to.
Can I just say something, Dr. Sai?
Yes. Yeah. Please,
So
Dr.
first and foremost, by the time he's getting his presentation on, congratulations for having such a wonderful session. And the name that you have given also is wonderful, the Quest Quotient. And this Quest Quotient, I'm sure, is going to really take you places and take the entire FOGSI to places, because we as teachers and professors now under the CPME and the new NMC guidelines are compulsory with research in a different outlook all the way, which has become essential. But I think bringing it on the platform of FOGSI so that each and every one of us benefits is definitely going to be a great thing. It's indeed going to be a pleasure to listen to a doctor who has been introduced just now. And he seems to be a scientist and definitely will learn. And on a personal front, I am pursuing my PhD currently. And I'm looking at this particular session with a lot of interest, because despite being trained several times to go through this, I'm sure every time there's going to be an innovation and new things to happen. So thank you so much for having this session, and thank you so much for inviting me to chair this session. And I'm sure we are going to enjoy this next rendition. Yes, to you, Dr. Noyal.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for this opportunity to address this renowned audience and participants here, many of the senior colleagues here. So, can anyone confirm that you're able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Fine. So let me start by just giving highlighting the importance of plagiarism detection. We all know that these days, be it publication or thesis submission, most institutes have their own mechanism of detection, and the journals also have the mechanism of detection of plagiarism. In view of that, actually, in 2018, the UGC, University Grants Commission, also has introduced the guidelines on that. In the interest of time, I won't be going into the guidelines, but those of you who are interested, you can go through that guidelines and the recommendations by the committee in the context of plagiarism. So there are different types of plagiarism, and sometimes quite often we end up committing plagiarism unintentionally. It's not that people do it intentionally with this one. Sometimes we do, maybe like failing to give a citation, or failing to put a definition within double quotes, those kind of things which we accidentally do. I'm not going to go into the methods of the background of plagiarism or the how to prevent all these things. So I'll be focusing more on the topic that is given to for me, that is mainly the detection. So I presume that all the members here will be very well informed about the plagiarism and the importance of detecting it, as well as the consequences of being one of the co-author in article or a thing where there is a plagiarism has been committed. So it's very important for us as investigators or teachers or guides or to know that as well as students, to know how to look for plagiarism, how to detect plagiarism in our write-up. So to start with, there are a few softwares, but I won't be spending much time on that. Free softwares, because like DupliCheck and other softwares which are there, they give an option of detecting by text, or you can upload, and they have the free softwares usually have their own limitations and the word count and other things. So there is one more software like Plagiarism. So all these are there. But the main drawback with these free software is that since they are free, they may have the algorithm to detect the plagiarism, but they may not have the access to all the paid sources. Open sources, any tool can detect, but then these free softwares may not have access to all the closed sources like for which they have to pay a subscription, so that they may not be having. So that might be the major limitation of these three softwares whichever I mentioned, the plagiarism duplicate checker and plagiarism checker. These softwares are there available, but still I wouldn't suggest these as tools. Maybe this can be a interim thing, but this should not be this one, because they will miss many evidence of they will not be very effective in picking up the plagiarism which has been taken from for the paragraphs or text which have been copied from some closed sources. So that might be a challenge here. So in that regards, we need to look at what are the reliable softwares, and these softwares, all of them are paid versions. And to start with, I would like to introduce Grammarly. Many of you might be using it, but as the name suggests, it's primarily a grammar checking tool. And it also has a feature of plagiarism checking as a part of it, as one domain of it. But a word of caution here would be like not to use Grammarly primarily for plagiarism, though it has a feature. Please don't depend on that, because again, it has its own limitations. It doesn't do a complete 100% job or close to that. It quite often misses some evidence of copied content which has been copied from other sources. So Grammarly is otherwise a good tool for grammar checking, but not so good for plagiarism check. In fact, this is a thing you can do. See, yeah, just for those of you who would like to know how to use Grammarly, it operates from the any web browser. You can go into app.grammarly.com. You can upload a document like that here. And once you upload, it gives any grammar suggestions like it is there. And you're not going to look into that. But in addition, once you see on the top, actually can show, it will also mention about the plagiarism. How much percentage of plagiarism. It will show which paragraph or text have been copied. That will be underlined. So that option is there in Grammarly as well. But not so reliable. It maybe it picks up a few plagiarism, but it misses out others as well. So next, moving on to the other software. Earlier we used to talk about Urkund or Original, which are the two softwares which were earlier provided by InflibNet Center. And and actually it has been procured. It's a software which has been procured by the government of India, MHRD scheme, under the MHRD scheme, and it has been provided free of cost to the various universities, all the UGC universities, or all the national institutes, as well as both government and private institutes, as well as they are once they are a registered university. So they are provided free access to these softwares. And in the past, we have been using Urkund and Original software. But this year, this year we have been the InflibNet Center is because they go for tender, and every time every other software that they use suggest or provide keeps changing. This year they have provided Drillbit. In fact, in the last meeting when we met in the same forum, I was talking about Original. But today I won't be talking about Original. Instead, I will be talking about the tool that is provided by the under this scheme by InflibNet Center, that is Drillbit. So it's a very simple to use interface. If you see, it will be just similar to your mailbox. And actually at the bottom, you can see here, there is a plus symbol. Once you click that, you can create multiple folders. Here, for instance, I have created by the year 2024. You can create by the department, various things, or whichever way, UG, PG, different way you can label the folders. So once you create the folder, you can sorry. So once you create the folder, you can upload a manuscript by pressing again the plus symbol at the bottom. You can upload. Maybe it will take around some 5 to 10 minutes time depending on the size of the manuscript. And then you can see here in the middle similarity. It will show the similarity percentage. Here in this case, it is showing 48%. So that's how it will show. And to know what are the paragraphs or text that have been copied verbatim, you can click on this percentage, that is 48. Once you click on that, it will take you to this next interface, which will show you a report with which highlighting the text that have been copied, and as well as the sources against which from which they have been copied. So all those will be listed, and overall the percentage from each source also will be mentioned here. So actually here you can see in the first part, it's actually a definition, but the author have not included that under a quotes. There is a system of in the plagiarism checking. You all must be aware that we need to include any definition within double quotes, because most of these tools for plagiarism detection has an option to exclude quotes. So once you exclude in this software, Drillbit also has that, as well as the other software Authenticator, which I'm going to tell, all of them have. In fact, most of the softwares do have this feature. So as a researcher or investigator or a guide or a student, we all should know that whenever we write some definition or some standard text which has to be copied verbatim, those should be put within double quotes. Since this particular manuscript they have not included it, it is showing that even the definition as a plagiarism text. And you can see at the bottom also some text which has been copied. This entire paragraph which is highlighted means that has been copied verbatim from some other source. This will be you can, once you click on that, you can see which source from which source it has been copied. And okay, sometimes what happens is so especially in the context of PhD, the students do submit their articles prior to publishing prior to submitting their thesis. So when you when we check their thesis for plagiarism check, sometimes their own articles might be published articles from that particular research would flag as has been used as a source or one of the source from which it has been copied. So if you know that, as actually, though self-plagiarism is not permissible for publication, see, no author is permitted to copy the same content of his or her first publication to the second publication. But in the context of thesis, it's different. Especially like PhD and some other, even these days MD also, some of them publish it even prior to publishing the thesis, submitting their thesis. So when they submit the article, and that will be in the public domain, and when you use one of these tools, it can pick up that as a source of plagiarism. So, but we know that it's not, when you compile a thesis, obviously the content of the previous articles which have been published from that will be there. So these softwares, in fact, the Drillbit also has this option to exclude. You just have to select, if you know that once this particular source is the publication of that particular author from from out of the same research, and it is for thesis compilation, then you can tick that and you can click exclude, so that will not add to the component. And again, like I would like to emphasize, this exemption of self-plagiarism is only for thesis compilation, not for another publication of an article, because once you publish an article, it's a property of the journal, so we cannot plagiarize. But all the journals also do acknowledge that the authors are permitted to put it in their own website or the institute website for the thesis compilation. So with that intention, you can exclude. So, and if you have to do that, this is how you'll do. You select that source and you can click the exclude. And there's one more option. Let's see, these days all of us are aware that AI tools like ChatGPT and various other tools are there, which can be used by various investigators to write even the entire article. And people also say that the ChatGPT can write entire textbook also for you on that. So people do use that, but there is a what to say issue, a limitation with that. But because when AI tool ends up writing, it may not be exactly this one that might gather the information. So that is a risk involved when you are publishing it for as a journal or in a journal article or a textbook. So most journals as well as publishers do check for AI also, and the Drillbit software also has this option for whether this author has used the AI tool for writing up the thing. See, you can use the AI for getting the background information, but you shouldn't copy paste that entire thing. Maybe you can see the flow of the content, you can have an overall view, but the investigators or students are encouraged to write on their own rather than use the exactly the text which is fetched by the AI tool. So the Drillbit software also has a feature to detect AI using this one. So that is in brief about that first tool. Next, I will quickly move on to the second tool, that is Authenticate. This name, all of you would have heard, either in your university or institute, you will be using it, or even when you submit to a journal, they will send you as a prerequisite they send, or when they have the doubt, they will ask you to provide a plagiarism, similarity certificate issued generated from Authenticate software. Say, in fact, they name the software. You have to get it from Authenticate. They won't accept from other softwares as well, because the main advantage of Authenticate is that it has a very good coverage. It has access to all the open as well as the closed sources. They subscribe for access to all the journals. So because that makes them leaders in this domain. So that this particular tool, Authenticate or Turnitin, which are the Turnitin is a broader name. Authenticate is one of the this one. So either of this, Authenticate or Turnitin, or the same to part of the same tools. So this tool is a very good tool for detecting, and most journals do use that, as well as the universities use that. This tool again, if you see, it's like it's from a web browser only. You can go into Authenticate, you can Google, and it will go take you to the login page. Once you log in, and once you have a username and account, based on your institution subscription or your journal subscription, you might have your user account. Once you log into that, you can, this again looks like a email interface. You can, on the right, you can see upload a file. All you have to do is click upload, and you have to upload the file. And once the upload is done, and this Authenticate or Turnitin tool does it very fast, within a few seconds or even less than a minute, you will get the report. For even for big tools, less than 2 minutes. That way, that is also one more interesting thing about it. You don't have to wait for a long time for generating the report. So once you see the report, you click on the percentage here, and you can get that. The report again will be same that way. The plagiarized text will be highlighted in blue. Even if there are one or few words, like as you can see here, the few words in black, they are not copied. Maybe the author has copied the investigator or the student has copied the content and pasted, and a few words in between he or she has changed. But the tool is good enough to pick up even those things. Even if you try to change a few words in between, it will be picking up. And as you can see here on the top, there is an option to exclude quotes, which I mentioned briefly earlier. When there is a definition, once you click that exclude quotes, it will automatically exclude that from the plagiarism thing and detection, and then the percentage will not overall percentage will not be reflecting the taking into account the definitions. The same way, there is an option to exclude bibliography. There is a bibliography list at the end. So that also most tools will detect as plagiarism. So we need to exclude that. That option is as well there. And excluding small sources, if there is one just 10 or 15 words which is there, if you want to exclude that, you can do. And also match size, like the UGC document which I mentioned in the beginning, that also mentions that the authors can have some liberty to have overlapping phrases, because small phrases can, even if you write on your own, can resemble the already published text. So the UGC guidelines say that up to 14 small phrases of 14 words can be exempted. So in the last option here, you can select that word count 10 or 14 as per the, or some journals might have a different guidelines. So according to that, you can exempt small phrases. You can mention the size of the phrase that can be exempted. So those are the features in this tool. And this is what I was telling. Sometimes you see, this is a PhD submission, and you can see the same student only has published earlier, and it will account for plagiarism. But as we know that for thesis compilation, we can include published articles from the own research. So this we can exclude, so that we can tick the X mark at the end. That will exclude the source. The same way Drillbit does. Authenticate also has that option of excluding sources. And okay, so these are the features which I mentioned. We can mention the exclude sources as well as exclude the word count, mention the word count, those things. Then you can see the percentage as each step, as you exclude quotes, exclude bibliography, and this one, the percentage will this one vary. So as journal, some of your journal editors must be journal editors. I would like to inform that please don't go by the overall percentage which the tool gives you. You need to look into it. Make sure you are excluding quotes. That's why you are excluding definitions, and make sure you are excluding bibliography, and you are giving some concession for the small phrases, because some particular text might have small phrases of 4 or 5 words throughout the manuscript, multiple instances. All that will add to the overall percentage. So we need to give some leniency for all that. We need to remove that, because those are not plagiarism. and see, unless it's a full big phrase or a complete sentence or paragraph. So we need to look at the content, not just by the percentage. So this this one I have done to compare authenticate with Grammarly. So the same manuscript which I uploaded in both these tools, one gave the authenticate software which is meant for plagiarism can give a similarity index of 51%. On the other hand, the Grammarly can give only 23%. So this is just to show you the difference, because some of the students do use Grammarly because it's freely available sometimes as a trial version also. People do use it, but then they will be confident that there is no plagiarism when they submit it to the committee and we check it with the authenticate. The plagiarism level will be similarity level will be very high. So now let me quickly show you a video demonstration of how to do that. So it's mainly a authenticate tool I'm going to show. You Google in authenticate, go to the login page, and you do that. Once you log in, this is how you will come. You land on this page, and you have to click the upload file. All this is very easy to use it.
Dr. Noyal, I just request you to go little bit slow here.
Okay,
Because
okay.
people will, they're not so well versed.
Yeah, okay. Let me see. So you're logging in here. So once you log in, on the right, you can see upload a file. So we have to click there, upload a file, and you can choose file and you can submit. Okay. So I'm choosing this particular, either PDF or Word, and Word would be preferable rather than PDF, because sometimes PDF might be having some block content. It may not be very effective for detecting plagiarism. So Word would be better, but I'm demonstrating with this one PDF. And in case you need to say, for example, you have some 5 files, sometimes in the context of a committee which screens plagiarism, or in the context of editor who is part of a journal, somebody who is in the journal who is checking for plagiarism, they might have some 5 or 10 articles or thesis at a time to upload. So you can just click here. You can see here, add another file. You can add another file. You can enter the details, the name of the authors, the title, related thing. If you enter, well and good. Otherwise, you can just upload it. To save time, what we do is we label the manuscript itself accordingly. Like you can see in the previous one where I mentioned the name of the candidate, name and the department you can mention, or if it is a journal article, you can mention the name and the issue or something like that. You can answer, so that you can save time. Instead of entering all the details individually, you can just name your file accordingly, and then you can upload multiple files as well. So once you upload it, it will show like this here. It will take a few seconds. It will show saving, and then it will soon give you the result. It will go as processing, and then once it is done, it will show you the result as a percentage. Sorry, it will show the percentage. So it is showing 55%. So like that, once you click that percentage, it will take you to the page showing all the text. So the color text, different colors, all of them are plagiarized text. Okay. So all this, and the sources. In case you want to verify with the source, you can click on that source on the right side. Whichever source, you can see the number. It's 23 means you can click on the 23. It will open the source of that. And then you can see for yourself, check whether the text has been exactly copied, or you can verify as well. So you can see some of the paragraphs are very big paragraphs which have been copied. So in this case, I'm taking the reference number 4. So once I click, it will take you to the original source from which it has been likely to be copied, and it will show you the source, and you can copy the text and verify. You can see the complete text. To show you that the text has been really copied, I will not just show. I'll go back into that and copy the text. Like for instance, one particular paragraph or text I will copy, and you can see for yourself, it will be there. So this normally one or more eggs are released during a, some of these texts actually we do agree that can be a common thing. So we need to give some, but complete paragraph like that being copied is not acceptable. So when I search, put the keyword, you can see this complete phrase is there in the site which has been already article which has been already published. And maybe the investigator or the student in this case has copied this entire paragraph verbatim. So without changing the meaning, you can write in your own words, but you are not allowed to copy paste. So since it has been copy pasted, it has been detected by the software as plagiarism. So that is what we have to do. We have to check. And so with that, this video, I think these are the options I was telling you. Can have the option to in the right, you have an option to exclude the word count as well. Excluding matches less than 45, you can exclude. Like that, there are other options to exclude the word count as well. So once you do, on the top corner, you can see the percentage that also keeps changing. The overall percentage initially might be higher, but then slowly it might come down. But this particular manuscript, which I've used for example, for trial, has plagiarism. There is no doubt about it. So the percentage is really high. Okay. Next, 1 minute. Sorry, this is just to show the this one of importance of including in quotes. I'll show you one example here. So I have intentionally included a definition alone here in this file. I have uploaded the same way which I showed you explained earlier. So you can see when you just look at it, since it's a small document only having a definition, it is appearing 97%. See, this is the definition. It is included within double quotes. So you can see here there is a double quote here and ending with a double quote. And but it has been detected by the software. So that's what I'm saying. We need to be careful. And the same way at the end, the reference list is a bibliography list. The entire thing has been picked up by the software as a plagiarized content. So we need to exclude the quotes. So now if I click exclude quotes, you can see the definition disappearing from the plagiarism. And the overall percentage also at the top right corner will reduce. And then once you exclude bibliography, the way I'm doing it now, once I click exclude bibliography, that again will be removed by the tool. Now the overall percentage will be very less. So this is what we need to check. Sometimes when we check from a journal or from the institute also, when you blindly take the content which has been report which has been given by the software, it might be you might be misled by that. Okay, so that's what I would like to emphasize. Then the next part. Sorry, I think it's playing again. Just a minute. So this is the next. So this slide I would like to show about the feature of doc-to-doc comparison. As you can see here at the right-hand side, you can see something like doc-to-doc comparison. Sometimes, let's say you have some thesis compilation in your department or somewhere. It's a hard copy, somebody has up, or you have it as a PDF, and you have a doubt whether the student of yours have copied it from that particular document. In that case, you can compare it end to end with that particular document. So that is called doc to doc. It's not comparing with the internet through the internet, just comparing two similar documents. Or you, let's say you have your student has submitted a first version and you have detected plagiarism in that, and then you ask the student to submit again a new version. You want to compare the first and the second one, whether there is much change. All those things you can compare. Ideally would be the first scenario where you want to see if the already known publishing source which you have, you want to compare the new document with that, you can just compare. So I'm uploading that. See, this is the source file, the PDF, and the document is a new file which has been, I'm just comparing end to end these two documents. So once you compare it, the tool will again tell you, give you a percentage, how much similarity is there with the source document. You can see in this case, it is showing 89% similarity. So in addition to comparing with the open database, you can also specify the document against which you can check. So in this case, it's showing this entire content has been. This is a trial. This one only. I just copied intentionally from this article and put it in a Word document so that we can see whether the tool is picking it up or not. Okay. So that is in brief about the plagiarism detecting tool. Now the last part I'm going to talk about is about the software called paraphrasing tool, that is Quillbot. So this particular tool again can be accessed from the browser. You can Google or Google search a Quillbot, Quillbot, and it is a paraphrasing tool. It is available as a paid version as well as free version. Free version, it has some word limitations, but students who are not able to buy it, you can always go for the free version. You can copy, say for instance, basically, sometimes some of the students do come to me asking me, like, sir, this paragraph, it's about a disease or a disease process or pathogenesis or a condition, which I'm finding it hard to rephrase it without changing the meaning. When, however, I rephrase it, the tool is detecting it as plagiarism. So is there a way out? So for that, you can go for Quillbot software. So you don't have to write. See, don't use the Quillbot for the entire manuscript or the write-up. It is useful for small text which you are finding it difficult to rephrase it. So you can just, as you can see here, you just have to copy paste the content which you want to modify. So let's say I am copying this particular paragraph which I am taking from the article, but so I'm copying this content from a published article and I'm pasting it here. And I click the tab paraphrase. Immediately the software will this one will change the content without changing the meaning. The meaning and the data will be the same, but you can see the wordings would have been changed in a different thing. And a word of caution here would be, sometimes when it changes the phrases, it puts in a little unscientific manner also. Some like in talking terms and other things, informal language also it will be there. So we need to read the content. Please don't again rely. See, always these tools, whatever tools are there to assist us, help us, or aid us, but it should not be we should not totally depend on us. We need to read. The human interface is very important despite having the tools. So you need to read the content and see if the language used by the suggested by the tool is formal language. So you need to do a little bit tweaking here and there to make it more formal. So after that, you can copy this content into your thesis or article or whichever. So I am copied into a new word like that now, and I'm going to show you whether similarly I'm doing with the similar one more paragraph. I'm copying, I'm doing the same thing process, and I'm copying the second paragraph as well. Okay, so I have made a document with two paragraphs which actually I have copied from the original source, and I didn't do anything. I just used the Quillbot to rephrase it, and I'm saving this as a document now. And I'm going to show you whether this Quillbot software or a paraphrasing tool is effective. So I have saving this as a modified document. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload it into the Authenticate software which I introduced to you earlier. So I'm going to do the doc-to-doc comparison. I'm uploading the modified document here with a paraphrase prepared with the help of the paraphrasing tool, and I'm going to use the source document as well. This is a published PDF article from which I have paraphrased. So I'm doing a doc-to-doc comparison to just show whether this tool is effective or not. As you can see here, it's saving and it has given this one. See, don't go, like I said, if you see the percentage, it is showing 27%. Please don't go by the percentage, because the smaller your document is, even if there are few words, it will overall show a very high percentage. As you can see here in this content, there are only small phrases are there. You can see. Sorry, what happened? Oh, yeah. Sorry. I think it went back in between. So this is what I was trying to explain. Small phrases are there, which you see: alcoholism, cryptogenic, hepatitis. These are the common terminology. Diabetes, which will the tool will tell you as a 25.7% plagiarism is there. We need to interpret that it is not plagiarism. So to exclude that, I'm showing that feature where I'm excluding small phrases or small thing. I'm excluding. As I exclude, you can see the percentage also will because these are not plagiarized texts. These are common medical terminologies. So once you exclude small phrases of 3 or 4 or 10, then you can see the plagiarism percentage will come down. So that is in brief about so this way you are also confident that the tool that you use is also really doing that job of paraphrasing. So that brings to the end of my session. I'd be happy to take any queries or questions related to that. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dr. Joseph. That was a wonderful presentation and such a lot of things to learn from you. I'll first put what Dr. Surekha had put in the chat box about the double quotes.
Can you stop share, please?
Just a minute, ma'am. Yes.
So the definitions which come under double quotes. So how do we take care of that?
No, that's what, ma'am, I showed in the software. No, there is an option. If you permit me.
No, Dr. Noyal.
Huh.
I don't think that the students understand when we're saying what do you mean by double quotes,
Okay.
Definitely what you're trying to say is when you go in authenticate, you exclude double quotes.
Okay.
But basically, I would like
Just a minute, ma'am.
benefit
Just
of
give me
students.
1 minute. I'll just prepare a draft. Just a minute.
Anit, can we mute others apart from Dr. Meena and Dr. Noel? We are hearing a lot of noise.
Just I'm typing
Benefits of students, I'll just like to explain that when
Yes,
we are
ma'am.
copying verbatim from some source and we don't want to change the words, because when we are talking of definitions like a WHO definition, we won't like to rephrase it in our own words. In that case, if you are copying verbatim from source such as WHO, you have to put it in double quotes, so inverted commas. So the whole thing will be there as it is, but it will be in inverted commas. That tells you that you have copied it verbatim from certain source, but that is how it has to be because you don't want to change the definitions. So that is what Dr. Noel was talking about, the double quotes. And over to you, Dr. Noel.
Yeah, ma'am. I will just share a quickly screen here. Yeah. So I have just in the short time I prepared a small this one just to show. See if we are you able to see the screen? Yeah. So if let's say our student is driving a definition of hypertension. So we mentioned hypertension is defined as, and this is what I would like to mention. So you have to start your content. So whichever content your definition you are copying. So you have to start the double quotes and then you end up typing your entire definition copied from the WHO or whichever standard source which you are having. And then at the end of the definition, you put the double quotes. So the advantage of putting this is when you check in the software, we just have to click exclude quotes. Once you do that, even though in this case, I've just put it as a small phrase, even though it is a 3 or 4 line sentence, that entire sentence which is within the double quotes will be excluded from plagiarism checking. So that is the advantage of double quotes. I hope this clarifies that.
Yeah, so this means that when the message is that whenever you're copying verbatim from certain source, like if somebody has quoted, said something in and you want to quote it verbatim, you have to put it in
Double
inverted
quotes.
comma.
Yes.
And then when you use authenticate or turn it in, you have to just say exclude double quotes, and then
So that will,
plagiarism will be less. I
Yes.
hope the students are understanding this. So the next question, over to you, Dr. Meena. You can moderate the session. I think Dr. Pushpa has said something.
Okay. So that was really wonderful what you said. Even when we are putting all these tools, we have to, use this thing, because like you told about the double quotes and the bibliography. So sometimes we can exclude bibliography when you're putting the check, because not all of us have the access to these paid sources, like Authenticate and all.
Yes.
So that is another thing.
How
So
to procure the tools? And if you want to buy, which one would be the best?
Best would be Authenticate, madam. There is no doubt about it. Because that is a word which you will be hearing. All the journals, most institutes do use it. But in case you are not having it, other standby would be the drill bit software provided by the this one, Human Resource Development, this one through the Government of India. But actually, I have not used it extensively, so I'm not able to comment as of now how effective is drill bit. I have tried a few documents. It is doing okay, fine job. But still, if you want me to say which is the tool for detecting plagiarism, the answer is Authenticate or Turnitin.
What will be the cost of such tools, sir? To like one document?
Those tools will not be. You cannot purchase it as an individual. I won't recommend that as purchasing as an individual. Always it should be purchased by the institute or as a journal, like that. So you cannot, as an organization, you have to purchase, or the journal can purchase it. Not I won't recommend it for the individual person, because the cost will be in lakhs. The tool which we use in our institute, it costs around 11 to 13 lakhs, depending on each year. Because the tool, the software also, each year they keep changing the price, because they have to pay the subscription to all the closed all the journals for the tool to Authenticate to have access to all the journals. They have to pay a subscription. When the journals increase the subscription for them, they also increase their charges. So the price will vary from 11 to 13 lakhs. And Authenticate also recently has introduced the AI detection, but I have not provided that because our particular institute doesn't have that, haven't purchased this. This year we are planning to go for that. And if that is there, it adds to additional AI detection alone as an additional feature. If you want to add, it adds around 1.5 lakhs to the base cost of 10 to 13 lakhs. But this subscription is for a year. And considering that if you purchase from our institute where you have so many theses to check, the cost will be justifiable. But definitely not
I
for
think
the individual.
it is important that students should be able to use it.
Yes,
So for
madam.
those fellows and residents who have joined from DMI HER, let me tell you that Turnitin is available to all the students to use. So you will have your login IDs. Please contact the Research and Development Unit and they'll let you know. They will allow you to register. Okay. So each university has the software and they will allow you to use it. So like that, as he said, we have been asking FOGSI also to purchase so that we can use it. So last year we had proposed it, and this year also, as a clinical research committee, we will again request for FOGSI to purchase so that FOGSians can use. So thank you very much, Dr. Noyal.
I have one question for Dr. Noyal. It may sound very silly, but from students' perspective, I am asking, sir, while writing the manuscript, you said that once you do plagiarism check and then only use paraphrasing tool for correcting the minor plagiarism, what is there. Don't use paraphrasing tool for writing the entire manuscript.
Yes, yes.
But if given the option, it is actually easy. Every sentence can be copied, paste, and paraphrase. Entire manuscript can be written like
Then
that.
the human touch is gone. No, you
Yeah.
see,
What is
you need
second
to. The students will, over the years, no, the student, once you start encouraging that, the students over the period of years will lose the art of writing. So it's
Yes.
very important. And like I said, these paraphrasing tools, I said no, there is the language that it uses sometimes might be not very formal. So if you at the last moment the student relies on this and copy paste everything, at the guide you will be facing the problem. And each sentence you cannot check it, and that becomes a problem. And more important, I would like to emphasize is we should not give up the importance of a human role in that. And the art of writing is very important. These tools should be used judiciously for content, like I said, like a pathogenesis or about a disease where it's difficult to rephrase it on our own. There we can take the help of the tools. So the purpose of tool should be very well judicious. It should not be used A to Z like that, the entire thing. That way, AI also you can use. No, AI also will give the entire content. So, but that we not encourage.
Yes, no,
AI has to be used only to, get an outline.
Yes,
yes,
ma'am.
but
Yes.
check and balance. Can the publishers find this out? For AI, we have to write a declaration sentence that no AI tool has been used.
Use.
Is there any check and balance if people have used entire paraphrasing tool for the entire manuscript? Can the publishers
We
find
can
that out?
understand it.
We can make out, but paraphrasing tool can be used. But because when you see, sometimes those people who end up using their paraphrasing tool for the entire manuscript, they will not be viewing the content properly to see if it is a proper language. So that way you can easily pick up. This is not the language which is written by the student or this one. See, the caliber of each and every student as a guide.
Guide will know very easily
Yes,
if
that's
it's
what I'm saying,
copied
ma'am.
from Quillbot.
Nobody can
We are very smart to pick up all these things. So
Yep.
I will suggest to the students that even if you have copied from Quillbot, you have to read the document yourself. And many a times Quillbot, just phrases it and the follow-up is not there. The follow-through of the whole, there is no connect between things. So that's why the student has to read it, and rephrasing is very important.
And it can be easily picked up by a guide who knows the caliber of
Guide
the
will
student.
easily pick up.
Yeah,
that
so
this is
you
from
need to use
Quillbot.
it specifically for a particular paragraph or something, so that even if the guide picks up and asks you whether this doesn't look like your own sentence, and then the student can say, "Sir, madam, I tried to write it, but I had challenge, so I used for this paragraph alone." But if you end up writing the entire manuscript, it is not acceptable. So no guide is going to entertain that.
Dr.
Exactly.
Mamlaka is there, so if we can summarize this session. Dr. Qazi is there. Yeah. So can we summarize it, and we can thank Dr. Noyal and the chairpersons, Dr. Meena and Dr. Girija, for wonderful session here. And can we
Yes.
go to the next session, please?
Yes, before that, thank you, Dr. Surekha, for giving me the opportunity to be here today. And of course, FOGSI President, Dr. Jaydeep, and our Secretary General, Dr. Madhuri Patel. It was a wonderful learning experience, I would say. So many new things you've added to our knowledge. Thank you, Dr. Noyal Joseph. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Could we invite the concluding remarks from Girija ma'am as well? I think ma'am.
She is engaged. So over to the MOC, Dr. Anit. I'd like to introduce him as a very astute person, very technically sound and very dedicated and hardworking. Yeah, so, and we are really lucky to have you, Anit, with us as one of the members of Clinical Research Committee. So over to you.
It's always very down to earth and
Yeah.
always.
Please don't read my CV. You can read Dr. Meeno's CV.
Thank you, ma'am. So next, moving on to the next talk. The next talk is on literature search, live demo of tools and tricks by Dr. Nazli Qazi. Chairperson is for Dr. Surekha, madam. Madam needs no introduction. Madam is the chairperson of clinical.
No, don't read it. Please read Dr. Meeno. Yeah.
And then I'd like to invite the next chairperson, Dr. Meenu Agarwal, ma'am. Madam is the president of Pune Obstetrics and Gynecological Society. He is the Secretary General of Indian Society of Gynecological Endoscopy and past chairperson of Imaging Science Committee, FOGSI. And next, I'd like to invite the speaker. Speaker is Dr. Nazli Qazi. Madam, can I ask Surekha ma'am to invite?
Yeah. I would like to introduce Madam. So she is a very, very astute researcher, and anything and everything we know about literature search is from Dr. Nazli. All of us from DMHIR can, vouch for it, that she is the person who has taught everything about literature search, systematic reviews. We have all learned from Dr. Nazli, and she is a very down-to-earth person. In spite of the vast knowledge she has about her subject, she is the head of Division of Evidence Synthesis at DMIHER. We have a big research and development unit, and she is otherwise a professor of physiology, but she has been doing such a lot of work on Cochrane, and she has been doing a lot of systematic reviews and meta-analysis, and she's well known for it. Otherwise, she has done again her expertise in public health interventions, nutrition, infant and young feeding, and a lot of awards to her credit, ICMR grants. She has been publishing in Q1 journals, and she has won a lot of accolades. I must say that we are very, very fortunate that she has accepted our invitation to be here, and you will once she starts her oration, her speech, you will know how very well in-depth knowledge she has about the subject. And she has been working with Niti Aayog, with MOHW, with ICMR, and each and everything, WHO. Dr. Nazli, we are very, very, very fortunate that you are here on this platform, and we will over to you for the topic literature search.
Can I just say a line?
Yeah, please.
So first of all, thank you very much, Dr. Surekha. Very, very energetic, very forceful, very progressive, and very nice program that you have put together here. And I am a part of the journal Troca Journal of ISGE, and there they have one thing where, because we get a lot of articles from China and from Japan, that English writing. So somebody who is not able to write very well in English, so they help them to write the article in English. So something, even we have people coming from rural areas who are not able to write that well in English, so we can help them how to convert their writing into a good strong English writing, so that it is accepted in internationally and also on the national level. So that is just one thing I wanted to say. And your first talk was amazing. This second one is also, we can, students can just write a review article, no need to actually do a research and write. So review articles also have a lot of importance, and they can be sent on a very, very prestigious journals as well. So this particular session will help how to make a review article, how to get the data from the already published articles. So thank you very much for having me over here. And yes,
Thank you, Minu.
thank you.
It's our pleasure. Over to Dr. Nazli.
Thank you, especially to Dr. Surekha ma'am for inviting me over here. And it's indeed a pleasure to be here on the platform of FOGSI with the eminent gynecologists and obstetricians who are clinicians as well as researchers. And
Yeah.
So, okay. So today I would be talking about the literature search, and I'll try to simplify as much as you can. In between, if you have got any questions, you can just put up in the chat box, and we will try to cover all of them as much as we can. And should I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay. I hope my screen is visible.
Presently, next stop is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about the literature search, and all of us are aware that this is something that has to be initiated before we take up a research question. I mean, before we start up a research topic. So we choose a research question depending upon what available evidence we have in hand and what are the gaps in the knowledge. So to identify what is the available evidence and what has to be done, what are the gaps. So we have to do the literature search. So if we see research in a sense, we see that this is the first step that has to be done before even finalizing the topic. And we have a misconception that we first finalize the topic and then we do the literature search depending upon that. So we start on this note that this becomes the first and foremost thing that has to be done before we take up the topic. Okay. So in today's talk, we would see what are the different bibliographic databases that are available, and where should we go into search for our relevant studies. What is the concept of text words and the thesaurus terms, and what are the steps in formulating the search strategies? Okay.
So we all of us are aware that there are different sections in writing a thesis or a primary research, whatever we are doing. So for writing the introduction, we should know the need of the topic. We introduce the topic to the researchers. For introducing the topic, we need to have good studies in hand to put that up in an introduction section. And as I said earlier, depending upon the need, the gaps in the knowledge, we write the research question, the hypothesis and objectives. So this becomes very essential. And for writing the methodology also, we need to see the articles that have studies that have already been done in a similar way. So if we find relevant articles that are very relevant to our research, so that will help us in framing a research methodology. In writing the discussion, we usually discuss our findings in the light of the other studies. So for that, we need to have, again, good amount of studies, good and relevant studies. So this literature search would be very, very beneficial. And lastly, I would say that if we are using this for writing the PhD thesis, then this writing the review of literature is, this would help us like anything if we do it in a proper way. So as you can see, in almost all the sections, except for the results section where we put in our own findings, we see that this literature search helps us in each and every section of our thesis work. And this is especially very important if you're writing the review articles. And whatever if there are PhDs or MD students as well, it would be great that they take up some review articles on the topic that they are doing their thesis on. So that would give them an extra idea. So if you're writing the review of literature, so the review articles, then this search becomes very important, because in the review articles, you actually have to put in the search terms that we have already used. You have to put in the entire string and place it in the methodology section as to this was the way we looked up into the PubMed or the other databases. This was our search strategy, and this is what we found. So for writing the review, if you put this section in your review articles, review paper, then there are chances of getting it published, because that tells us about the transparency in the way you have looked into it. So having said that, so if we have to search for literature, we usually have the electronic sources at our fingertips. And we all know that even if we type the rarest of the rarest word, we have thousands and lakhs of articles, and it really becomes very, very, very difficult for us to identify what are the relevant topics, what are the authentic topics. So it's just like searching a diamond in a hay. So that becomes very, very difficult for us to identify. So searching electronic databases at a fingertip is a boon as well as a bane, you know. So you actually have to have some tricks of getting all. I repeat, we should have the tricks of getting all and only the relevant articles that are of your relevance to your question. And that is what we are going to learn in today. As to what is the way of systematic searching, we don't have to like one here and there, just have lots of articles and then screen all of them. So if you want to be a lazy bone, then it's better that you start your work very systematically, search very systematically, in a way, sit and relax and just sort out the strategy and put a proper search strategy and get all the articles that are really needed for your research question. That's what we're going to learn today. Okay, so you can be in a situation like this with all and only the articles that are very relevant to your research question. Okay, so all of us are aware of some of the bibliographic databases. The commonest that we use is the PubMed. And I hope that almost all of you must be aware of the PubMed. Going to the Google for the literature, for the scientific research, especially when it comes to writing a research article that is concerned with dealing with the patient care. So Google doesn't give us any authenticity. Even I can put up any blog and I can write about anything about my way of treating the patient. So there's no authenticity as such. So these are the authentic databases that will give you very, very, very relevant articles. And the best of use to us is PubMed. Then PubMed gives us like almost all the articles. It has case series, it has case reports, it has reviews, systematic reviews, original articles, randomized control trials, letters to editorials, everything. Then the other is a Cochrane library, wherein you don't have case series, case reports. All that we get in Cochrane is the systematic reviews and the randomized control trials. So these are the two types of articles that we get, and these are all excellent articles. I mean, systematic reviews are the best quality of systematic reviews are available in the Cochrane library. Then all of us are aware of the Web of Science, Google Scholar, Scopus. Then if your research question is something towards the nursing care or the palliative care, then Sinhal is a good data source. If you're working on some like educational researches, then ERIC is a good database that will give you articles that have been done on education related aspects. And then if you're doing on like gynecologist, OBGY has lots of scope for the trials. So if you are a part of the trial and writing something about this, so you can also look in for the trial registries, okay, for the articles that have for the protocols that are available and their updates. So that is also a good source. So these are all the electronic databases that would be very, very useful to all of you. It's not necessary that you should be using all of them. Even if you go to the PubMed, and if it involves some intervention, you can go into the central. Okay, so even if you search two, that would be okay. But if you are able to search all of them, that would be a great thing to do. Right. Apart from this, there are some Indian, regional databases. Like if you're assisting, doing something on the Indian system of medicine, then that's InMed database and likewise. So other sources are these reference list of the studies. If you know somebody who is already doing, you can personally communicate with them. You can do hand searching. Then the government websites, these are very, very, very essential, because like if I'm writing some article on let's say anemia, so and I would definitely have to write about the prevalence of anemia in a worldwide, at a global level, prevalence of anemia at the national level or the subnational level. So I shouldn't be taking the data from the original studies, because a single study won't be able to do a survey at that level. So we have to go in for the government websites, okay, and some organizations website, like the WHO websites for the prevalence of anemia latest, like, or the ICMR website or the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare websites to get those types of data. So that shouldn't be taken from the original study. So for this, we have to go through the Google to the government websites. Otherwise, conference proceedings and dissertations. So today, what we are going to learn, these are the websites that would be useful, and all of us should actually use whatever topic you are taking, be it hypertension in pregnancy, eclampsia, or bad obstetrics, whatever you are doing it. So you have to have this data from these government websites, okay? And so these are the basically two things that I have said. So one is PubMed, the other is Central. So today we are going to learn how to search the PubMed. The Central and the PubMed are almost like the strategy remains the same, except at their interface, the buttons are a bit over here and there. It's just like if you know how to shop on Amazon, you can do it the same way with the Myntra and the Flipkart. The buttons are just a bit of here and there. That's basically the difference between the two. So even if I'll teach you and tell you about how to use a PubMed, you can apply this almost the same, a bit of a difference between the two, but I'm sure you would be able to do that with the central as well. Okay. So let's start with how to use it. So before we actually go into the hands-on demonstration, there is something groundwork that we are supposed to do. Okay, so what we have to do, all of you must be aware that whenever we sit in with a research question, we have 4 type of elements that should be in hand, and that is PICO. So I hope all of you know P stands for participants, I stands for intervention. If you are doing some exposure studies, so instead of I, it would be E, exposure studies, and then the comparator, C stands for comparator, and O stands for the outcomes. So while searching, we don't usually go in for the outcome measures because we don't expect, we would be searching by the title and abstract, and we don't expect that all of the outcomes would be available in the title and abstract. The authors usually report the findings of only the primary outcomes in their in the abstract. So we won't be expecting that we will get all of them. So we don't have to look at the outcomes. We just have to have 3 elements in our hand: participants, intervention or exposure, and the comparator. Comparator also, if it is an active comparator. Suppose if I want to study one comparator with the other, suppose I want to study ferric carboxymaltose for anemia versus iron sucrose complex. So my comparator is an active comparator. If it is an active, then I would be including that also in my search term. Okay. So if it is just an oral iron versus placebo, so I don't need a comparator. Wherever there is a placebo, you don't have to use that. So I'll have only 2 elements in hand. One would be participants and the other would be interventions. I hope I'm going at a very slow. I'm trying to be as slow as much as I can. If you don't understand, if you want to be more slow, I can. Okay. Yes, it's fine, Professor. Okay, yeah. So let's take an example of ferric carboxymaltose in pregnant women. Okay, so this is a topic. This is not actually the title. I just want to emphasize on 2 things. So pregnant women is the population over here, and ferric carboxymaltose is the intervention over here. So let's suppose this is not a condition where we can compare it with the placebo, because that is given in moderate to severe form of anemia, you have to give something. But for the sake of demonstration, let us assume that we are comparing this ferric carboxymaltose with placebo. Okay. So the health condition over here is population is pregnant women and the intervention is ferric carboxymaltose. So I have 2 things in hand. My comparator is placebo, and I am not supposed to look in for the outcome measures. We are ignoring that for the while. Okay. So let us now think about all the possible terms that could have been used for my population. Okay. And what was the population? It was pregnant women, right? So we'll just sit down and think about what are the possible terms that could have been used by the different authors. Okay. Some authors may use pregnancy, okay, ferric carboxymaltose in pregnancy, or in pregnancies, plural, effect of ferric carboxymaltose in pregnant women, or it can be during the ANC period or ANC care, or authors can use the word during the antenatal care. Antenatal care. You can see the difference between the 2. It's anti-natal, antenatal. Because what we are doing is we are asking a database. We are asking a search engine. Okay. And search engine, we have to write everything that the search engine would understand. Okay, so likewise, so there might be other terms as well. So for the sake of demonstration, we are just limiting this to this number. Okay, and so what we are going to do now, I have lots of terms. So instead of making a lengthy string, instead of typing so many words, what I would try to do is we would choose a similar terms together. Like here, you can see this is pregnancy. So we have to basically include the singular, the plurals, the synonyms, the short forms. You can see this is singular, this is plural. If there are differences in the verbs or the nouns or the pronouns like that, everything, you have to use the abbreviations, you have to use these as well, okay, other synonyms as well. So here I can see that these three terms are very much similar to each other: pregnancy, pregnancies, and pregnant. So instead of putting all of these in the PubMed, what I will do is I will just put the nearest common words. So here, this is the common word. So PREGNAN. So PREGNAN, PREGNAN, PREGNAN. So all of these three, they have the common words, common alphabets. So I'll put it, and I'm going to put a star marks or an asterisk mark over here. So this is called as a wildcard. So if I'm putting a wildcard after the common term, so PubMed will give me all the articles that have these words. It will give me pregnancy, I mean the words with the pregnancy, pregnancies, pregnant, or any other word that can come. Natal, you can see I have put here open and close inverted commas. Just wait for a second. There is, okay. Okay, so here you can see I have included the asterisk mark over here. Sorry, here I have included this antenatal. So here antenatal was joined together already with the help of dash mark, but here antenatal are different. So if I'm going to put this term loosely, I mean without the open and the close inverted commas, PubMed will read it as anti and natal. Okay, so anti word would be somewhere else in the paper, and natal word, it can be postnatal or something somewhere else. Okay, so PubMed will automatically by default setting, it puts the Boolean operator and in between. But I don't want anti somewhere else and natal somewhere else. So I want the two words together. If I want to do that, I will just put them in open and close inverted commas. That's how it is. Okay, and then there would be some other words that I am not aware of. Because we are doing it, let's say we are yet to start the research, and I'm not very much sure about all the things, all the words that are there. So for identifying such words, we apply a special feature in the PubMed that is called as a mesh, and this is also available in the Central as well. Okay, so basically, in a broad way, I can say that mesh is something that like if I'm putting pregnancy in the under the mesh, it will give me all the articles that have not used the word pregnancy, but they have used the word ANC or the antenatal care, because the PubMed knows that if under the mesh, PubMed knows that the pregnancy means antenatal, period. Okay, so that is the beauty of, that is the usage of the mesh terms. Okay, so once I chalk this out, I will put a Boolean operator or in between, and I'll create a string like this. I will keep a string separate. You won't be understanding much at this stage, but let's take this and keep this in the pocket as of now. Once we do a hands-on demonstration, then the things would be clearer to you. Okay, so similarly, we would make a string for the ferric carboxymaltose. So we have ferric carboxymaltose. The short form that is used is FCM, or it is also referred to as iron carboxymaltose, or these are the other names, Ferinject, Injectafer. So you can put the other names as well. You can even put the trade names that are there for the ferric carboxymaltose. So now we are going to use, we have just written it roughly. So we have to frame how we are going to put it in the PubMed. So we, again, you can see ferric carboxy maltose, there is a space in between. Okay, so it can be taken as differently. So we want both the terms together. So we would place open and close inverted commas over here. For the FCM, it would be FCM. Again, for the iron carboxy maltose, we'll put it in open and close inverted commas. Pharyngect, or because in some pharyngect, after pharyngect, you have some dash and some other words to it also. So we have put a wildcard over here, and also for the injectafer, we have used some wildcard. There are other names for the ferric carboxy maltose also, but for the sake of demonstration, we are just keeping these much articles. So we have put in like this. Then there might be other terms that we don't know, like that might be used for the term ferric carboxy maltose. So for those, we apply the mesh over here. You can see the mesh terms over here. So we have to run in for the mesh. So basically, we are creating two strings, one for all the words that can be used for our population, and one string for all the words that can be used for our intervention. If it is exposure, for the exposure. If you have an active comparator, then you will have another string next to it. Okay. So basically, we have these two strings, and now we want all the possible combinations between the two. We want the articles that have the word pregnancy with iron carboxy maltose, pregnancy or with ferric carboxy maltose, or pregnancy with injectafer, or antenatal with carboxy maltose, or antenatal. We want any possible combination between those two strings of words. So we put a Boolean operator and join the two strings together with a Boolean operator that is an AND. Okay, so this is how it goes. So we have looked into the Boolean operators and or. The other operator that I have not said anything about is not, and I would not recommend to use it for the beginners. If you are very well versed with it, then you can use that. But once you start with it, avoid using not, because that gives you an entirely erratic results. So we have looked into the wildcards. So the search fields, we will look into the search fields later on. So let's have a demonstration of the literature search. If you have your laptops on, you can run along with me, because this would seem very easy for you as of now. But once you try to do it yourself, you might face lots of issues with it. Okay, so let's go to the PubMed. Okay, so we are going to the PubMed right now. So once we go into the PubMed, this is the home page for the PubMed. And here you can see I'm logged into my account. If you don't have an account with the PubMed, I would advise you to create an account. You would be given a username and a password, because if you do all the searches while you are logged into your account, all the searches that you do would be a one-time activity. It would be saved into your account and you won't have to do it again and again. And there are other things also that you can do while you are logged into your account, like you can create save alerts and things like that. So I would recommend to log into your account. So I'm logged into my account. So since we have to do a systematic search, we won't directly write in over here. We will go to the advanced option. Okay. Other thing that you can do is that I wanted to show you about the mesh database. So if you just go and click on the mesh database, so it looks something like this. Suppose if I am typing anemia over here, and here you can see this anemia. So here PubMed identifies that anemia means reduction in the number of circulating RBCs. So if I click on this, you can see that these are all the terms that have been used for the anemia. Okay, so if I am writing about the pregnant women and search, you can see
that these are the entry terms for the pregnant woman. So this basically has a definition. There are people who are actually sitting in the PubMed who actually look into the articles and tag those articles with the mesh term, right? So now let us go to the advanced option. So we are going to the advanced option. So first, what are we going to do is we are going to create the strings. So these are the options that are available. So this tells me where I want the whatever word I'm typing it over here, where it should be there. Okay. Suppose if I'm clicking on all fields, that means that word can be a journal name of the journal as well, and it can be anywhere in the text. So if I'm clicking on title and abstract, so whatever I will be typing, it should be there in the title and abstract. That's how it goes. Okay. So it's why it depends upon the need of your topic and your research question. So for the research question that we have seen, I think title and abstract would be the best. I would want all the articles, all the pregnancy terms in the title, as well as ferric carboxy maltose term in the title and the abstract section. So that's why I have changed it. You can do it as per your research question. So it would be great if you can just help me in typing it, so that at the same time we would get to know also. Okay. So would you help me with this? First, we are going to create a string like this string. Okay.
Dr. Nazli, you want somebody to dictate those things to you?
Yeah, anyone, I mean, voluntarily, because that would, in a way, that would help us understand everybody.
Yeah, somebody is there, students.
And students especially, because they would learn it this way.
Yeah. Who's there? Anuba is there? Anyone? Sindhuka is there? I'm not finding anybody.
Okay.
Divya?
So let's put it.
Divya, please go ahead. Yeah, ma'am. Actually.
Okay, now Divya, what should I put? You can see I'm just putting the words in over here and just clicking on this. So I have put pregnancy, I have put ANC, I have put antenatal. So I have put in this, I have put in this, I have put in this. Now I have to put in this. Okay, right? So I will write here antenatal. Okay. So now if you put it like this, the Pubmed will automatically read it as anti and natal. I don't want this. Okay. So I want the two words together. So I will put this in open and close inverted commas. Right? And I will click here or. So if I'm clicking on or over here, so this comes automatically down in the query box. Right?
Okay.
Okay, so this is how it is. So it is automatically putting a Boolean operator, and you can see I'm trying to find these words in the title and abstract. So I'm done with this now. Now I want to have a mesh term also, because I don't know, there might be some other words that could have been used by the authors. So I will now change this from title and abstract to the mesh terms. Okay, and now I will write here pregnant. So pregnancy. So whenever we are putting the mesh terms, always don't just write it this way. Always go to the show index and choose the options that are available, right? Because we don't know what is the original mesh terms. Okay. So I've gone to the shown index, and show index, I've chosen it from the options that were available. And then Divya, where I have to click it now? And here you can see
ferric carboxy maltose.
No. We are here.
Or now, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah, we are here. That was the reason I was asking somebody to be with me. So here these are or. We are yet to finish the string. We are in this mesh. Okay. So again, I'll click on or. Now this string is complete. So I'll keep it down. So once this is complete, I will click in over here. This is a pull down menu. And here I can see there is an option for the add to history. I'll click on add to history. As soon as I
Okay.
click on add to history, you can see these are the search details, and you can see there are 11,64,000 articles that have been written on the pregnancy. Okay, now I will start up with the string. Okay,
Ferric carboxy maltose.
so should I keep on mesh right now?
No.
Yes, ma'am. Ferric carbox.
You can
Okay.
do that
Go to
also, but
title and abstracts.
title and abstract. So I will write here ferric
Carboxy maltose.
maltose. Is it right? Should I click on add now?
Or, ma'am.
No, should be inverted comma now.
Yeah, ma'am.
That was what? Because I want the two words together. So it's ferric carboxy maltose. Now I will click on add. Okay. The next was FCM. So FCM like this.
Or
Then we
iron
have,
carboxy maltose.
okay. Then we will put as
Iron carboxy maltose.
carbo. Now is it okay? Shall I
Yes,
click
ma'am.
on all?
Or.
No.
Ma'am, comma required, ma'am.
Yeah.
Apostrophe.
Okay. Now I will click on
Or.
okay. Or
Then
then we have
inject.
inject inject. Okay. Should I click on all?
Yes, ma'am.
Pharyngect, what I find that is that in some of the articles they have pharyngect, after that you have some other words as well. Something. So I can put in this
Injectifer.
injectifer. You click on all. Okay. So this is done. If you know other terms also, you can put it as well. Okay. This is just for the sake of demonstration. We are taking just some of them. So is it complete now?
Ma'am, mesh.
Yeah. So where do I have to go to mesh? From here,
Right. That's
I
right.
will go and click on mesh. And here I will write something ferric. I am not sure whether they have this term as well. Okay, as of now. Ferric. Now where do I have to go?
Show
And
index.
Show
should I
index.
click on all?
Show index.
Show index. From show index, I have to have this. So here ferric carboxy maltose is not here. So if you want to be very liberal, I mean, if you want to be like not very narrow in your search strategy, you can do away with the mesh terms. Or if you want ferric compounds, it can be other compounds as well, ferric iron as well. So you can just click over this, or you can just do away with this. Okay, it depends upon how narrow or how broad you want to be in your search terms. Okay.
Can we
So
type
what-
FCM and see there if it is coming?
Yes. What would you suggest?
FCM instead of ferric compound, if we can say FCM, because that is more commonly used, isn't it?
Because synonyms are, I mean, abbreviations are usually not taken.
Not taken. Okay.
We can take iron carboxy maltose and see. That is the reason we have to go to show index. So would you like, as a gynecologist, what would you suggest? Should I take ferric compounds, or should I should I omit this?
Ferric compounds wouldn't be too wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what that
Other-
that is what you have to take a call, whether you want to be very broad in your search or you have to be very narrow in your search. Okay.
I think let us first see ferric compounds and then maybe we'll have to narrow ultimately, isn't it?
Okay, you can take. What we do is we usually take everything. I mean, we keep a broad search, and at the time of screening, we just take them out. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's take them. Let's omit them because this is a demonstration. So let's omit them. Okay. Okay. ले लेते हैं चलो. Let's see now. Ferric compounds. Chalo. You will be happy. Now what I have to do now?
And
Add to history.
History. Okay. And को अभी नहीं लेना है. And के बारे में आप भूल जाइए. You don't have to look into and right now. Now we have got two strings, so we can see that there are 11 lakh articles on pregnancy and 51,000 on ferric carboxy maltose. But we want the articles that have any of this term and any of this term, right? So what we will do is, this is a first search history, so we'll copy it and paste it over here. Okay, you can see this mesh automatically has gone. And then we will click on add. And then we will copy the second search history and paste it over here. You got this?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
now, should we change the defaults? I mean, should we change this pull down menu?
We should
No, no. And
Now we will put and. Okay. So while creating the since we weren't putting and, we were putting or. So if you have to join the two strings, then we will put and in over here. And then we will click on add to history. And now you can see there are 849 articles that have used both the tongue. If you just click on this, it will give you all those articles. Okay. So this is how it is. So these are all the articles that we have gone. Since we have used the term ferric compounds, to our search has become a bit broader. If we would not have used this, then we would have got lesser articles than what we have got right now. You can see this is ferric carboxymaltose, ferric carboxymaltose, ferric carboxymaltose, iron therapy. If you open this, then there would be ferric carboxymaltose in over here. So this is taking a bit longer time. Okay, here. So you can see these are the abstraction over here. So you will have ferric carboxymaltose and pregnancy conditions. Okay, and okay, let's change this again to the summary. So this is we have. Now, once we have these articles, then you can decide if you want to apply filters. If you don't want older studies, you want the studies for only 5 years, you can click on this filters. These are all the filters that are available. So likewise, if you, like you have filters in your Amazon and Myntra, likewise you have filters in over here as well. So you can click on here. So you can see initially we had around 849 articles. As soon as we applied the filter for 5 years, we just have 117 articles. So almost like 600 articles, more than 600 articles were published before 5 years. Okay, and again you can further narrow it down if you want like just the randomized control trial, if you don't want the review articles. So you can click on another filter, that is a randomized control trial like this, and here you can see these are only the randomized control trials that are available. You can see this is comparison of ferric carboxymaltose by Jose. Then this is by Pasricha. This is iron polymaltose in pregnancy, ferric derisomaltose. Then efficacy of F. This is ferric carboxymaltose for anemia. Likewise, you can get only the relevant articles that you have. So you can be like, sit back and relax that, okay, I have searched the PubMed and within the last 5 years, there are only 11 randomized control trials that have looked into the efficacy of ferric carboxymaltose or the ferric compounds for the treatment of anemia in pregnancy. Okay, so if you want to save this, you can save this. If you want, like there are 11 articles, if you want to save all the results, then you can create a file and you can see, have a download like this. Okay, can you see this?
yes, ma'am.
So this is a file of the 11 articles. You can save this file. Okay. Alternatively, if you want to send an email, like if you want to send an email to your guide or send an email to yourself so that you have the list of these articles. So you can again do an email, and if you just click on this, okay. So you'll get a pop-up button over here after some time, and then, okay. or if you want to save an alert, I mean, or if you want to send it to your file, like I am logged into my account, I have done this now and I want to access this. I'm going somewhere, I don't have a laptop, I'm doing it from the department, I want this article to be available on my account. So what you can do is you can go to send to option and go to collections, and then you can click in over here. You can give a name to your collection like FCM for pregnancy, and if you just click on add, then it would be added to my account. I can anyway go to my account and see. It's just like if you put something in your card box and it's always there in your Amazon. So it's just the same way. So I already have a lots of articles over here, and I wouldn't like to overload this, so I'm not adding it. Even if you just add this click button, it would go to my account. Okay. Or we have seen how to save the file. We have seen how to put an email to yourself or your guide or to whoever is your co-author, or if you can alternatively send into your email on your Pubmed account. The other good option is that if you want to create, if you want, like you have started your thesis now, and you will complete your thesis or complete the writing of your thesis after 2.5 years. So in between, you have run the search now, and in between, if some new articles come in, so you won't like to do the search again and again. So what you can do is if you just click on create alert option. So so what the Pubmed does is that it gives me an update. If any article comes up that fits into my search strategy. So this is my search strategy that's shown in over here. If a new article is published in Pubmed that fits into my search strategy, then it will inform me. I will get an alert on my email that so-and-so article has been published and it fits into your search strategy. Kindly have a look at it. So in a way, I am continuously informed of any new work that is being done, that is published. So I don't have to do it again and again. So that is one of the very what I would suggest you is that go to this page and just download this file. Okay, so if you download this file, it will look something like this. It looks something like this. So this is all your I mean the work that you have done. So here you can just copy and paste this into your thesis work. Like if I just keep it this way, so this is how it is. So what we do whenever we are writing systematic reviews or even the plain literature review articles, we have to copy and paste this in a that we did the Pubmed searches on so and so date, like 14th of January 2024, with the following search strategy. We paste this strategy with so and so filters, and we write that on this date, 14th of January, we got 11 articles. Like this, I'll just show you an example. So this is the same IV ferric carboxymaltose. So this was a review that we did it for the ICMR. Here you can see the search strategy. You can see this. So here, this was a search strategy that we had to, now this has been accepted in medicine. So this would be, I mean, come up anytime. So this is the search strategy. So here I showed you about the pregnancy. Here we took it for anemia because we were not restricting ourselves for only the pregnant ladies. We were even using it for the people who are on dialysis, who are giving FCM also. So we had, instead of pregnancy, we were looking in for anemics. And then we had applied other filters as well. That was for the randomized control trial. Okay, so as I said, we made just 2 strings. One was for the FCM and the other was for the pregnancy. Here we have put in 4 strings. other was for India because the ICMR wanted the data from only the Indian studies. So another string was, one was FCM, the other was anemia, the third was India, and the fourth was for the randomized control trial. So instead of just applying the filter, we want to be very, very, very specific. So for the RCTs also, we have applied the filter. And for the central, so we had also looked in for the central. So this was our search strategy for the central. So if you're writing review articles also, if you just copy and paste this thing in your methodology section, that would give a good impression to the reviewers that, and this shows your transparency that you have not fabricated any data. This was a search strategy. On this date, there were 11 articles. That shows your transparency. So that is how you can do it. And before I close, let me put a disclaimer that this is not the only way of searching the PubMed. There are several ways of searching the PubMed. Even if you go on YouTube, you will find lots of other ways of doing it. But what we have been doing this since last term. 7, 8, 10 years. And this is a strategy that we find is the most easiest one of them. And there are other ways also that you can do it, but this is for us, I mean, the best and the easiest way of getting all the you yourself saw almost all the articles were relevant. We didn't find anything that is, I mean, was very absurd, and we were sure that these are only the things that are available also, and we will be getting the updates if we click on the create alert option also. So that was a disclaimer that this is not the only way. And what I would recommend is that this may sound very easy for you, but you have to sit it and do it again and again, because there are lots of small errors that we do, and our entire search strategy gives very absurd results. So if you do it again and again, the more mistakes you will do, the more you will learn. So, but the thing is that you'll have to play with this. Okay, for the central, I'll just show one, I mean, the home page of the central library. So you have to type the Cochrane library. So this opens up. You can see, and you have to again sign in over here. So this is my signing ID. I'm signing in. We won't be taking into this, but just the home page. So here also you have an advanced option. Just click on this. The search strategy would almost be the same. Here, this is the search manager, and you just have to go on typing the word in over here again and again. And this central library is more and much user friendly than the PubMed. PubMed is a bit of a difficult thing. I mean, if you make a mistake, you have to redo it again and again. But here, I mean, the central, this is a very easy interface for you to do it than the PubMed. Okay, so this is already done. You will have to add the new search and just click on doing this. Okay, so for our search strategy on the central, this was a search strategy. You can see this ferric compounds. These are the other terms that we had not taken. These were the other terms that we, for the sake of time and everything, we have omitted this. We just took the major terms. You can add this as well. One was for anemia, then India, and this. And since this is a central, it does only have about the randomized control trial and the systematic reviews. So there was no need to put a filter for the randomized control trials. Okay, so that was all from my side. Any questions? Welcome.
I'd like Dr. Meenu to comment first. Meenu is there? Dr. Nazli, if you can just stop share. There are a number of, I would just like to acknowledge all the seniors who have joined. We had Dr. Kiran Koti, who is the incoming president of AMOGS. We have Dr. Vidya Thobi. We have Dr. Papa Dasari. We have Dr. Jaju ma'am. So many stalwarts have joined. Dr. Deepika has just commented. that this was much awaited from your side, Dr. Nazli, because we were really wanting to learn this again. And the number of times we hear you again and again, the more clear it becomes. And I would suggest that, see, once you have gone through this workshop, you have to do it yourself. The do
Yeah,
it yourself is
exactly.
very important, you know. You have to go on PubMed yourself and see, you know, how many terms, how to write the mesh term, how to write the, how to use the Boolean operators, which words to use, or, you know, what is your population, what is your intervention, which words and all that. You really have to do it yourself. Just listening won't suffice. One thing is that, again, Boolean operators, whether you want to use or, when you should be using and, you know, that will come only when you do it yourself. And of course, you once you type it all, many a times, you know, the number of, you know, the articles will pop up 1 lakh, 11 lakh, 10 lakh, like that. So you should also be knowing how to use the filters. Mostly, it would be, you can say last 5 years, last 10 years, or maybe only articles which are containing only the trials, all that filters. If you use, then maybe you can your number of articles will be more focused. And then of course you have to open up each articles and find out, you have to screen those articles, and then those articles which are relevant to your research, those articles you're supposed to keep. I hope I'm right, Dr. Nazli.
Absolutely right. That depends on your how far you how narrow your research question is, or how broad your research question is. Filters will also be accordingly.
Yeah, and if you do not, if it's a rare subject you are researching, then you may have to include even the case reports. Even the
Yes.
unpublished data, sometimes you will have to go and try to find out. Okay, so if it's a rare subject, then you will have less number of articles. So you will have to search for more databases, the PubMed, the then the Medline, Embase. You know, you'll have to go and try to find out other databases as well. And like you said, if you want to go for find some guidelines, so then you'll have to go to WHO, ICMR, and try to find out if something relevant you are missing. You shouldn't be missing anything if you are writing maybe a systematic review, something like that. So I think it was a very, very good session.
What I would suggest here, Dr. Surekha ma'am, I just like to add something, that don't apply the filters. Just keep the filters away. Just save that. Like, we got 800 and something documents, so you just save that file. So what we do is that if we are writing the introduction section, so we apply the filter on the review, because the review article that gives us a better way, better things to write for our introduction section. So if we are writing the introduction, we apply the filter for the review articles. If we are writing the methodology section, so if it is a randomized control trial, we are writing a methodology section, so we apply the filter only for the randomized control trial. If it's an observational study, so we, while writing the methodology, just apply the filter for the observational studies. Again, for writing the discussion, you can apply the filter for the review articles. So that is depending on the section, on what you are applying, what you are writing, you can apply the filters and then again get away the filter and save the and file, whatever you got after putting an and into your system.
So again, I must say, this knowledge, you know, the more you do, more you learn, and every day is learning. I must say, even today, I have learned a lot, and especially if Dr. Nazli is there, you keep on learning. So I must thank you very much. If there is any relevant question, we can take up. Is there anything in the chat box, Nivedita, which we have to take up? So I think Dr. Aniruddha has talked about, he wrote air pollution and he said, ma'am, please repeat the stems once again. I would suggest Dr. Aniruddha is professor of physiology from Nagpur. I would suggest that you can do it yourself, and maybe you are a fellow, you're doing a fellowship, so you can just add it to the fellowship group, and from there we can take it up, because I don't think we can do it again for air pollution, Dr. Nazli, because we are already the time we have to take into consideration that too. So any
Nazli?
other question? Yeah, Nivedita.
It's a very vivid, crystal clear live demonstrations. Ma'am, I have published quite a few. I'm just a early career researcher, but I have actually never done this. I used to just manage with, type the mesh items in Pubmed and filter, and I thought that is enough. But then you have really taken us into the ocean, and I think we all must practice. And now, while you were taking the demo, I was along with you. I was doing that in my other system. So it is really very for this insightful thing. And ma'am, we have some senior professors also. If you'd like to, pitch in and give any comments. Dr. Seema Chopra is there. Dr. Padmaja, Papa Dasri, ma'am.
Yeah,
Anybody?
Dr. Seema is there. If you want to say something, Dr. Seema.
Ma'am is professor at PGI Chandigarh.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Please go
It
ahead.
was a very nice presentation. Actually, I also didn't know about how to search so thoroughly. In such a short time, I could get most of the articles, adding mesh search and then adding and or wildcard. All this was new to me, even though we have been doing search for many years. So it was really nice to know all this. Maybe it will help us in writing protocols for the students, helping them out. So it was
Yeah.
really good. Yeah.
Dr. Meena Agrawal, would like to say something? Meenu is there. If you can call her, Dr. Meena.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Dr. Papa Dasari is very senior from Jipmer Pondicherry. Madam, you want to comment?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dr. Surekha, for arranging this session from such a wonderful and experienced person. And yes, I was also doing this PubMed and MESH search. What I learned today is that how to save these search items. It's really nice that the initial search items we should save everything, then apply the filters. That is what I have learned today. And also putting it into that ICMR article which she has shown our search strategy. That is one new thing I have learned. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anjali Jamma, you want to say something? We had Dr. Kiran Koti also. Is he there yet? But so I think absolutely, Dr. Anjali will be sharing with you the recording. Don't worry. Anit is going to share it with us. And I would again like to thank Dr. Nazli, because it was really wonderful, and we will be troubling you again and again because we want to learn from you the systematic review and meta-analysis as well. So
Sure.
hope you can give us some time later also, because this is a clinical research committee and we are going to have a number of such sessions where we really learn some good skills, because we have been doing it, but what is the best way and what is the scientific way of doing things? I think that is what is so very important for us as researchers. And maybe even if we are not those hardcore researchers, and if you just want to write a case report as well, because there are a lot many private practitioners on this platform who have joined today, and even writing a case report, you are going to need the articles wherein you would like to write the introduction or the discussion. So basically the search strategy is important for each and everything. Yes, for original articles, before starting your before starting your research, prior to that itself you have to do the review of literature, but even for a case report you will need the help. So that is from my side. And I would invite Dr. Shobna Priya for the vote of thanks, please. And of course, Anit, if you would like to say something, you're the one who have done the most of the job. So Anit, if you'd like to say something.
Today's webinar was very informative, madam. Both talks on plagiarism and on research. It was very new to even us experienced, as youngsters. So I'd like to thank all the faculties for teaching us so much today, and I'd like to thank us Surekha ma'am for giving this opportunity for us, putting all of us together in this meeting. Thank you, ma'am.
And over to Shobna.
And
Yeah.
ma'am, one third, today one physiology of professor and professor of physiology and microbiology spoke, but I feel at the end of your 3 years term, we obstetrician would be able to take this up and we would be able to speak on these things. That much is the enthusiasm and energy you have instilled into all of us. Thank
Yeah.
you, ma'am.
Thank you so very much, Nivedita. Over
Yes, ma'am,
to
that's actually very true word. So now coming into the last part, even in the chaos of everyday's life, a moment of gratitude remind us to hold on to the good things. A thankful heart is not only the greatest virtue, but the parent of all the other virtues as well. Now we are here for the first episode of Quotient research series, which is by our own clinical research committee headed by our dynamic captain, Dr. Surekha Tayade ma'am, along with School of Advanced Studies DMI chair. And now we had a wonderful demonstration of plagiarism and paraphrasing tool by Noyal sir, and which was chaired by Dr. Girija Wag ma'am and Meena Samant ma'am. And the literature search, the live demo of tools and tricks, wonderful quasi ma'am. Today we had a wonderful session by both the eminent speakers and chaired by our own dynamic captain and Dr. Meenu Agarwal. The session was started with word of wisdom by our own president, Dr. Jaydeep Sir, and our Iron Lady of FOGSI, Dr. Madhuri Patel ma'am. And though Charmila ma'am couldn't join for us, but still she is there with us to guide us throughout this committee. And we thank the entire delegates who have joined us for this wonderful session, because this is very important, even not only just for the postgraduates, but overall interested in research. We have to know each and everything to do a proper writing up of any article. So thank you so much for creating. I thank our captain for creating such a platform, so that so many, now we had around 90 to close to 100 participants were there. Everybody, right from the senior most, the professors till the juniors, postgraduates, we are now thoroughly got into that, and we will be knowing it again and again. We will be going through this, and any questions we can have, any questions by the PG, so anywhere you can ask anybody, so that we will have better knowledge on research. Thank you. And I thank our MOC and our convener Nivedita ma'am for this. Thank you so much, and thank you almighty. Now we are there to end of the session.
Yeah, and I would like to thank FOGSI for offering us this platform. So FOGSI has been kind enough to offer us this Zoom platform so that we can use it. And School of Advanced Studies of DMIHER, I would like to thank. And Dr. Meenu, you're there? Dr. Meenu is from Maharashtra, and she's also the secretary of the International Society of Gynecological Endoscopists. So she's standing for the vice president elections of FOGSI this year. And Meenu, you would like to say something? So of course, if she's there, she would place the request, I think. Yeah, Meenu.
She's not there.
I can see her, but she's
Signal.
she's shy to ask vote for herself. So from Clinical Research Committee, we would request all of you when the time comes to support Dr. Meenu Agrawal. So thank you very much, everybody. And again, wishing you a great festival of Sankranti and Pongal and Bihu, Lori. So, and a great evening to you. We'll be sharing with you the recording as well. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
of you videos for a photo.
Yeah. So remove the spotlight. Yes, thank you. And we can take a photograph. Thank you, Noel. Thank you so very much. It was really great. So all the videos on, please. And
smile. Cedri, your video, please. Yes, Seema.
Dr. Surekha madam, wonderful webinar. And I'm traveling, so couldn't attend full. So it will be great if you can share the recording of this program
whatever
today.
we have, we'll share with you, definitely.
Thank you.
Now,
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
done?
No, just 1 second.
Okay.
Done,
you-
ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Next page.
Mm.
There are 3 pages.
Uh,
2 pages. That's it. Thank you very much. Done?
Thank you.